everybody, good evening. I hope you can see me okay. If you're new here, welcome to the Claire Manning Creative channel where I show you crafty videos. So I'll just give everybody, because it's a live, a minute or two to join, and then I'll tell you what we're up to today. I've got loads of news and website offers and things like that, and then a lovely demo for you. Stamping but with a twist. We're going to have a look at some Cricut stuff as well with my cutting machine. Hi Steph, hi Karen. Just going to give everybody a second or two. Been a lovely afternoon. I think the sun came out in the end. Now I hope everybody, a few people said last week that they weren't getting the notifications. I think they hadn't hit the bell, so hopefully, hi Margaret, hopefully people will be joining now and got notified that I'm live. So again, if you're new here, I do a live demonstration at 6 o'clock every Monday, and then once a month, normally the first Monday of the month will be launch day for a new collection of stamps, stencils, dies coming up, all sorts of things like that. And then as well as the demos each Monday, I'm going to try and put in a little offer for you on the website as well. That kind of ties in hopefully with the demonstration. So if you want to follow along and give these things a go, you can have get your supplies with a bit of a discount as well. Some more joining now. Hi Sue, hi Wendy, hi Valerie. Great to see you all here again. If you don't normally comment, pop in, say hi. We're a lovely bunch, aren't we? So let me go through the bits of news. So some things you've been asking me about, so I'll try and answer those questions first. When is the next new Claire Manning Creative release? That will be on this Monday, the 6th of September at 6 p.m. and that will go live on the website at the same time. Another lovely collection of stamps and stencils for you. Still my style, a little bit of a different theme to the last one, but I hope you're going to really enjoy them. There's something even bigger coming for October, where you might see me back on another type of screen, but I need to just get all the details finalised on that, but very exciting. So today's demonstration I'm using, let me find the stamp. I'm going to go with 3 cameras on the go today, because I'm going to do this one, the overhead, as I normally do. You can see I'm leaning on my big Cricut machine here, so I try to get as much of it in. And I'll use the overhead for my stamping as well, but I'm going to use the Hello World set. And I'm going to do some where you can see my screen on the computer as well. It's all very technical. It could all go horribly wrong. But hey, let's try. Am I insane trying using this machine and all these technology all at once live? Who knows? Hi Joe. Have I got any other news? Yes, so as part of the demonstration I'm going to be using some distress inks and some blending brushes. You've all seen me use distress inks and distress oxides before, and you've probably seen me use these lovely Time for Tea brushes that I've recently become obsessed with. So I thought as part of that, that's this week's offer. So last week you had your whey powders and stuff, didn't you, for 10% off. This week it's blending brushes, distress oxides and distress inks. Haven't got absolutely every colour of these, but there's a good amount of colours on there, and I've got more coming in this week. So but I like to give you guys a bit of an offer and a discount on a Monday as well. Yeah, and there's one more thing I've added to the website, and that's going to be the thing I'm using today as part of this. So let me just start by saying about cutting machines, because it will still, the demonstration today will still involve stamping and colouring and all those lovely things that we love. But one of the things I hear from people is electronic machines, do they take the creativity away from you? And absolutely not. I mean, for me, it's kind of expanded the creativity of what I do, because I've gone from just doing papercraft and watercolour and art and things like that, to now I make t-shirts. I do things like put my initials on little pen pots and things like that using vinyl and all those kind of things. I use it to cut cardstock. I'm looking into buying, there's different tools that you get with them, like for engraving and things like that. You can engrave acrylic, you can cut wood. It's actually quite mind-blowing what you can do, and I've had to kind of, it's one of those things since I've had it. One, I've used way more than my scan and cut, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a while as well. I just want to say hi to a few more people. Hi Joe, hi Vicky, hi Kathy. Oh dear, slow journey down from Scotland. Hi Cleo. So yeah, I don't believe it limits your creativity at all. I still use dies, I still use my scissors. For me, it's opened up an extra world. So again, this isn't about Selly today. This isn't a release or anything like that. But I know so many of you ask me about cutting machines, scan and cut, Cricut, why I changed from the scan and cut to the Cricut. So because of that, and you know, where do you buy them from? Where do you get your supplies from? Blah, blah, blah. I have added the brand new Cricut Maker 3 to the website with an exclusive bundle of digital downloads from me. And you get some vinyl and some cardstock as well. So I understand these machines aren't cheap. I understand that it's not for everybody, but I feel like I should show you what I do because you guys asked me, and I'll be doing you a bit of a disservice. So yeah, Margaret's saying that they scare me. Yeah, it's not, it seems way more, I was scared too, and I think of myself as quite reasonably tech savvy, being able to do this kind of thing and stuff, but I will show you how easy it is. And if it's not something that is for you, still stay and watch the video because I am still doing stamping and colouring. And I just think it's really interesting to see what kind of things are out there too, even if you watch something and just decide, you know what, it's still not for me, I'm quite happy with doing what I'm doing. That's absolutely fine too. So before I get going, I just want to talk about scan and cut versus Cricut. So you'll think I'm saying this because I've put them on the website. I've put them on the website because I've been so overwhelmed with how amazing this machine is. I did not feel the same when I had my scan and cut. My scan and cut did what I wanted it to do, as in it cut card for me, and there were some things that I cut instead of buying dies and things like that, but I never felt like compelled to do all this other stuff like I do with the Cricut. So there were two main things before I bought it why I wanted to change. One, I'd already started using the Cricut Design Space web software that I'll show you to help me with my cut files and my SVGs, and I just find it so much easier than the scan and cut version. I can't remember what it's called. Somebody will tell me who's got one. And I love the look of it because I'm a bit, I don't know, anybody who owns an Apple iPhone, partly it's because they look pretty, right? So yeah, I was well impressed with the software, the tools that you can get with it, and then when I got it and I found how easy it was to use, yeah, that was the thing that really pushed it for me. Vicky, you got rid of it. Do you mean the scan and cut? Yes, so I sold it to my niece, obviously for a reduced amount. Canvas, well done Tracy. So yeah, she uses it. She thinks it's great, blah, blah, blah. It's the first cutting machine she's had. I'm not saying it's rubbish. The scan and cut, it is not. I just found for me, this is there's so much more inspiration out there as well. And yeah, I just felt compelled to do more with it. I really did. Joe, does it take up a lot of space? Well, you'll see when I've turned the overhead camera on in a second. They are heavy, they are big, because the mats can go from 12 by 12 to 12 by 24. So yes, you do need, I use mine on a desk here that's like 6 foot long, and you need a bit of space either side. So it's not, don't expect them to be a tiny machine, but they are very powerful. So then just covering why I chose this one. And then I bought my Cricut 2, and then they brought out a brand new one, which is what's on the website like a few weeks later. But you know what? It's just faster. I still feel like mine does everything, so I'm not going to panic. Right then, so what I want to show you is how to, if you downloaded a file from me or somewhere else for what's called an SVG, and all that means is that it's a cutting file. So it means that your machine can understand it. And one of the other differences with Scan and Cut and Cricut is that you do need either a laptop or a desktop or iPad or iPhone or something to use with it. It hasn't got a screen like the Scan and Cut had. But I found that frustrating anyway, because I found the screens was too small. I prefer to work on my laptop or my iPad or something like that, and then just ping it across to the machine. So that's fine. So I'm going to just switch now to, I hope this works. Is that giving you a screen? Let me go back to my home page. Sorry, I was just playing beforehand. So, okay, can you see a screen now? We're on the left-hand side. It's got new project. Oh, Valerie, that's an old machine, 2002. I didn't even realise they did the name. So actually, let's go back a little bit further, just for 10 seconds, because a lot of people say, how can you do dies on it? Have you got to scan the die in? I have visions of people putting like metal dies into the machine. No, it's got a blade basically, and you can change that blade to other things like engravers and foilers and things like that, and it will cut whatever you tell it to cut. It just needs a computer file in a language it can understand. So that's if I'm referring to it as an SVG. Right, okay, so let's do new project. It's just telling me that I've got an old one. And you get this screen here, which is basically like, think of this screen as your mat. So, and then we can put on this screen whatever we like. So if I'm going to upload, so if you bought a download from me or downloaded an SVG from somewhere else, unable to load your recently uploaded images. Oh, I wonder if this is because I knew something would go wrong. I wonder if it's because me streaming is taking up my computer power. Let's have a try anyway. So, and then it's just telling you where do you want to find your file from. So browse is just like if you were going to add a file to an email or something like that. And here's my digifiles. And this is the one for the Hello World stamp that I'm going to use. So yeah, I think it's just going a bit slower than it normally would because my computer's having a meltdown because of the amount of power it's using. No, it's not having it, is it? Let me see, because I did it earlier. Let's go to my projects and it should be sat there. No, it's not connecting to the internet. I'm just going to close that and reopen. Let's come back. It's always, it seems so easy. These things always work. And I apologise for leaning over because I've had to fit my Cricut in. I've had to have my computer so far away. Right, let's try and reopen that. And let's try again. Okay, it's just reloading. Oh, this is going well, isn't it? I can't close anything else down on my machine to give it extra space, because otherwise I'll end up cutting off. Let's try again. Luckily I did cut out the bits I need beforehand when I was testing, so we can still do the project, that's fine. Yeah, and this is nothing to do with the machine or the software it uses. This is just my machine having a, hi Nola, having a meltdown. Just trying one last time before I move on. Never worked with animals, children or IT. I literally did this like 10 minutes before, but then me streaming uses up so much power. I need a more powerful computer. Okay, we'll come back to it. If I'll try it again in a little while, just in case it's just the internet connection. Right, let me show you. Let's change to overhead. I'm sorry, guys. So what I did do anyway, this is the machine. Who was it that asked about size? So, okay, for scale. This is a 12-inch mat. So it's probably about 18 inches long. And then you open up and it does this thing by itself. It's amazing. And your blades go in here, and your pens and all that kind of thing. And then your mats just load in. And you get a standard mat with it, and then you can buy different types of mats as well. But let's go to the crafting bit. So what I did on the machine is that file that I showed you that looked like Hello World. It's basically cut out for me. I'll pop them on here. It's cut out for me all these bits as if I had the dies. So now I can stamp on top of those and do my card as normal, or my, hopefully this will be a piece of like wall art. So what I did was, because we've done our cutting first, I'm going to do my trick of keeping this piece, and we're going to put some low tack tape, and this allows you to stamp and keep it in place with your stamping tool if you need to stamp more than once. So just a bit of low tack tape on the back. I'll tell you what I will do, guys. If we can't get the computer to show the Cricut screen live by the end of it, I can do a record as well on that. So I've got the low tack tape facing upwards. I'm going to hold the rest with my magnets. And then if I slot that back in, that's going to hold. And I'm still going to call them die cut pieces because it's a language we all know, right? And then now I can stamp onto that as many times as I want and get the position perfectly right without worrying about that piece of card moving around. So I'm actually going to stamp using a really light colour. Where did I put it? If you can hear a low humming in the background, it's Dean outside doing the grass. I had a lovely light ink. I've got speckled ink. Ah, yes. So this antique linen, I'm hoping will get almost like a no line look with it. Give it a good press. Hi everyone that's just joining. Digital dice in the way of the future and big money savings. Yeah, I mean, there's still certain things for quickness that I just love. Dies that I use over and over again, and I just have my die cutting machine on the table all the time. This I kind of get out and have like a cutting machine afternoon, if you like. So I don't find it, that's why I say I still use them. For me, it's not a replacement, it's an addition, and I know that sounds really spoilt. But I do different kind of projects on it. But absolutely, you're right in terms of, so when I did the download for this, instead of you having to pay 17, 18 quid or whatever for a die set, and they're expensive for me to manufacture as well, let's face it. I have to order loads of them, which means I need to sell the same amount of stamps. You know, completely honest, as a small business, it can be quite difficult. So it gives me an opportunity to get you the dies for things that I wouldn't be able to get them manufactured very easily. So yeah, hopefully that's pale enough to give us a kind of no line effect. So just give that a little wipe. Yeah, Vicky, I found the scan and cut. You're right, it seemed too technical. And I know, like, that's failed me today. So it is easy, honest. Basically, the only screen that you didn't see was it putting the design on the piece of, on the screen, and then saying cut and putting the card in the mat. It's as simple as that. But I found the scan and cut, you're totally right. It seemed to me like not like a consumer product. I know that sounds funny, but it seemed to me like it was made by people who are very techy, and this feels more like a consumer machine to me. Right, so now I'm going to do, let's bring this in a little bit now. We don't need that huge height from the machine. So I'm going to do a little bit of colouring. I'm putting together a new bundle for you of this floral kind of bundle of mix of pinks and greens. Because I know lots of you said that you want to be able to have smaller packs of those. So I'm just putting a bit of colour in the middle, and I'm just, like I always do, just blending out. With my brush. You can need a slightly lighter pink as well. Let's try a mix of these. Oops. What was that one? Pink flamingo, light pink, and tea rose. Let's try this one. Oh yeah, that's nice. Nice and peachy. So I'm just going to do some of the petals in pure colour, some of them with a bit of water, and some of the slightly darker shades, and blend those. And it's like a tight rose, this design, which I think is really pretty. What weight paper can you use in it? In the Cricut, you can actually cut anything up to about 2.4 mil or anything. So I've cut in it with 300. You just have to change the settings basically. On the screen, it asks you what weight you're using or whether you're using vinyl or whatever, which again I found, compared to the scan and cut where you have to manually adjust the blade yourself, with this you just tell the computer or your iPad or whatever what you're using and it works it out for you. And there is a deep cut blade as well if you cut in things like leather, really thick, you know, like grey board, those kind of things. But you don't have to think about it yourself, or what settings, what blade number. That's really frustrated me, and I wasted so much card getting it wrong. So I want like a greeny grey. Let's try this one. I think I've used a different cardstock than I normally do. It doesn't seem to blend as well on this cardstock, but not to worry, we'll make it work still. Yes, so you've got the newer Scan and Cut, Tracy, have you, where it's got an auto blade now? So yeah, I had an older one. So I think the difference there is the Scan and Cut physically pulls the material in, is that right, Tracy? And assesses it and then changes it. Whereas this, you just tell it what you're using. So it's like, you can say light cardstock, medium cardstock, heavy cardstock. It's like hundreds and hundreds. Well, I haven't had to use so much water on this because it's not blending as well on this cardstock, but actually I'm quite liking the effect this is giving. Oh, green and grey, that was the one I was after, wasn't it? And we've got no harsh black lines or anything like that. Stamping with that light ink. So just that little bud, I think, and then that'll do us on that for now. Okay, so that's kind of looks like it's been die cut element. What I also did was cut out, in the SVG bundle you get, you know, there's the hello stamp as part of this. I've made a cut file out of it and then I've resized it. It's about 7 inches long now. So what I want to do is be able to kind of display this or something on a piece of wall art. So I'm just going to get a large piece of card that we can use as a background. And then I want to use some Distress Oxides to give it a bit of textured look. So I'm going to put this kind of in a frame. So I'm just deciding. I've seen so many. Was it Sue that did all those beautiful cards like Leanne? Like that? But no, I think I want it like that. I think it hugs that H. Really lovely. So what I'd like to do is have almost like a bit of sky bleeding out from there. So I've got speckled egg. And let's grab... I've got blues on this, so that's fine, but I'm just taking off any excess to make sure it's not too dark. Just the kind of simple things, aren't they? And just, I think work really well. So I'm going to kind of put it in this area here. So it'll look like it's popping out from behind the flowers. So it's put the main bit of colour down, and then I'm just going around the edges, and I'm loosening my grip on it as I go around the edges to make it really kind of blur out into nothing. So you've got no harsh lines. And you can always bring in, check how it's going to look. So actually a really simple piece, but it shows you what you can do with the standard kind of digi-dies, and then what you can do with a bit of making it bigger and adjusting the size. So I've now got my pot of water, and I do my favourite, flick it on in big bits first, just from my fingers, give it a second or two. And then blot away. A couple more if you need. Got a dog hair on it, obviously. And then if you want to have more, see those are quite large splats. And then if you watch now what we do with a spray bottle to get some smaller kind of texture. This is also really great if you do have a few little harsh lines or anything from your blending. But can you see how that's just added even more that textured look? And a bit more down here. Can I say actually a couple of little hellos while I'm here today? Because my best friend Jane is in hospital right now. Not COVID, but a pre-existing condition. She's been in for a couple of days, so I just want to say hi, Jane, and you know, can't wait for you to come out and we go for a little drinkies and catch up again. And also my niece Natasha, who you've seen, is now doing some design team work for me. It's her birthday tomorrow, so she's 19 tomorrow. Don't know how to make a digital scan. Did I see it, Claire, have anything to do with DigiStamps? So it kind of, you can download the ones like Stephanie said where it's all done for you. If you have a scan and cut, or in fact if you have a Cricut, you can in theory do it yourself. It's not easy, which is why I do these files for you, so you can just download them and not have to worry. But you can in theory stamp your images, get a really nice crisp stamped image, scan them into your scan and cut, or if you've got a Cricut, scan them into your machine, and make your own files. But like I say, it's not easy. I'm not saying you can't do it. You might be well more technically minded than me. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do in the world, which is why I thought if I make the files really cheap and I've sized them all perfectly for you, you don't have to worry about sizing it at all. Then I don't know about you, but I'm all for an easy life. Are you? So I would just put that together now with some glue and some sequins and things like that and frame it. I'm going to pop back to my screen now and have another go and see if we can get this working. So let's try again. Oh, it seems to be opening. Okay, can you see that new project screen again now, I hope? Lovely. Right, let's have another bash and see if we can do it. So now you can see this is where I uploaded. That's the previous screen that we did before. I don't want to go back to it in case it crashes on me again. But basically we did new projects. We browsed our computer and selected the file. I've already got them, like I say, here. So at the moment there's, I think, 4 files on the website. There's the Hello World DigiDies, which I've just shown you. The Hello on its own, that is the full detailed word. There's the equivalent to the Superstripe stencil, but I've resized it for a die for you. So you could use it as a cover die. And there's also one on there. Ignore these other ones, these are just mine. That's that one's on there as well that I made. I'm crafting to you. So there'll be loads more. So let's see if we can cut a second hello on the live for you. Yay, it seems to be working. So when you select your file, it'll say customize. You can just go and make it if it's something that you fiddled with before and you know all your settings. Personally, I like to go in and customize with everything because I can just make sure that it's all exactly how I want. So this is that matte screen again. So can you see, I'm not going to resize it there, but you can rotate it, you can change the size to whatever you want. That's basically what you're going to cut. The reason I'm not going to resize it is I want a second one exactly the same size as the one I've already cut. If I mess with it now, I'm never going to get it again. But I tell you what, I will do a proper recorded one of creating something from scratch, resizing and all those techniques. So let me change back to overhead. So this is my mat, this is the light grit mat, that's all I need for cardstock, and I've got the fine point blading, and I've got my standard, I think this is a Linda's World of Paper, and I'm just making sure I put the right orientation, as in it's going that way and my file is going down that way. I use a brayer to stick it down. One of the other things that I found is that the mats stay a lot stickier than I found with the scan and cut ones, which means less having to clean them and re-stick them and things like that. I haven't done anything with that since I've had it for a couple of months now, and I use it a lot. So let's move the machine back into view and back up here if we can. Sorry if I'm rushing, I feel like I'm scared it's going to go again. So when I open, it just pops down like that. Don't think I can get much more of it in the shot. We get the buttons in, that's an important bit. You see those buttons at the bottom? So then I turn my machine on. Line up my mat and I press this button to load it. Oh, apart from I'll put it upside down. I'm too busy looking at the camera. Right, so that's ready to cut now. So let me go back to my screen. And what I have to do now is click this Make It button. This is where then we choose, tells you which mat. It shows you whereabouts it's going to cut. You can mirror it if you're using iron-on vinyl, things like that. We press continue and it's connecting now to Bluetooth to my machine. And it knows exactly what blade I've got in and all that kind of thing. And this is where you select your material. So instead of messing about with blade settings or anything like that, I can browse all the materials that you can cut. So you could search, or there's like literally hundreds it will cut. I've been using cardstock for intricate cuts on this one. It knows the difference between glitter card and metallic card and things like that. It knows that the blade needs more pressure or less pressure or that kind of thing. And I find anything more than about 220, I put a little bit more pressure on. Okay, can you see now it's saying press go, and it's telling me to press the button on my machine. So let's flip back to the machine. And I press that flashing button there. Now it's going to start cutting. I'm going to get the camera right over it. And it tells me, as it's cutting, tells me how far it is. So this shouldn't take a minute or so. So think about one file. So this is one Word file. I could do it in cardstock like we've done it. I could do it in vinyl, make a t-shirt out of it. I could stick it on a sign for the wall. I could cut it in like grey board or thicker things and things like that, and use it for a mixed media project. I can make it 1 inch small, or I can make it 12 inches long. So now it's done, and it's just telling me, just move it, it's telling me to unload now by flashing the unload. Okay, so I'm just going to close that up so I've got a bit more room, and pop that aside. And then let's have a look. How it looks. There's one little scraper. It's not stuck on too hard. I just don't want to be too forceful with it. That's better if I just bend it. The last thing I would want to do is rip it where it's quite intricate. So that's the sign of a good sticky mat. It hasn't moved at all. It's cut perfectly. So we can layer it on. I'm going to layer it so we've got 2 of those together, make it a little bit more sturdy. And then we can use a little scraper just to get rid of those. Yay, works! Oh, Tracy, gotta go. Doctor's decided to do a wee on my stairs. Oh, lovely. Well done. Right then, so let's stick these 2 together. Oh, well, my doggies, look, he's come to, let's change. My horse, he's just bought me his pig, Christmas pig. You take that, you've got tape all over you. Good boy, well done. Weird. Right then. Oh gosh, my glue has just exploded. You guys are so patient with me. It all goes wrong on my lives. Oh dear. I think it's because I cut it slow. Let's use a bit of scrap in case it all comes out everywhere. That's it. And then I can dip this one in it instead. It all goes wrong. So guys that have already got these kind of machines, Scan and Cuts or Cricuts, I hope you'd like to see some more files that are designed for you. I've got loads of ideas from some like absolute perfect basics, like cutting mats and layers for your cards with detailing, but they're being perfectly sized for you, and you can just, perfect for if you're batch making, and you can just cut and cut and cut a million out of them and have them ready to go, right through to kind of intricate designs and things that coordinate with my stamps and stencils. I've made such a mess of that. So I'm going to add some glossy accents too, once it goes on the piece of card. Just making sure that's all lovely and lined up and stuck together. Those bits of glue will dry clear anyway, no problem. So let's bring back in our background. So that's nice and dry now as well. And I'm going to get the flowers, and I'm going to raise those up a little bit with some foam tape. Just opening a new packet because I've run out. So let's just put some bits. And we showed you how to do, we did masking with this stamp and other stamps, didn't we, the other week? So if die cutting or machine cutting is just not for you, you're quite happy to either fussy cut or use masking. The thing is for me, for craft, is to have the options, isn't it? And if you want to be able to do this stuff and have these extra supplies and machines and things like that, I think it's just amazing that they're out there and you've totally got the choice. Oh, thank you, Margaret. Yeah, it is really not scary. It's the scariest bit I find now is that I can't stop thinking of ideas and I don't have enough time to do them. Once you know, horse. Oh, sorry, he's scared of motorcycles. Horse, it's okay, darling. You're making everybody jump. Yes, I find that the scariest bit. Not scary, but the most difficult bit is that I just want to do everything. So I'm going to pop that there. No, oh no, it's shouting at the off screen. I love how you can customise your clothes. Yes, I've done water bottles, glasses for people, for gifts with stick-on vinyl. It's absolutely great for customising things and making gifts for people. Although I do find you get asked so much, oh, can you make me this? Can you make me that? And everybody thinks everything takes 5 minutes, obviously. But we know that as crafters anyway, don't we? Who's been asked for a card at like 8 o'clock at night and they need it for the next morning? We've all been there, right? So that's the hello. And where's my glossy accents? I'm losing everything, including my mind. Here we go. So I could leave that just matte like this, but I really want to add some glossy accents and some sequins. Just because I wanted to give it a little bit of sparkle. And I think the sequins pick up, oops, all that detail that you get from the splashes of the oxides and things It just adds to that. Let's bring it in a little bit closer. So we've got 2 more. I like to do either 5 or 7. So I'm going to have 7 on this one. And then the glossy accents, I have got some of this to add onto the website as well, but I didn't get a chance to do it before I went live. And this is going to have to set overnight with this glossy accents. But if you saw my little post about the happy birthday die that's coming up, and a few of you were asking, how did you do that? How did you make it look all shiny and puffy? It's literally just this same technique, but I did it with a small die cut. So stuck a few of them together and then covered it in the glossy accents. You can do it with embossing powder as well, the clear embossing powder, but with a large item like this, I just find it easier to go around with the glossy accents and give it that lovely shine. You can even get, when I talk about vinyl a lot for ironing on or sticking on things like glasses and mugs and stuff like that, you can even get printable vinyl. So I could do some like already coloured images for you to download, and then you can print them and then stick them onto t-shirts and things like that. Like, how pretty would that whole design look on a t-shirt all coloured like that? And you wouldn't have to do layers and layers of vinyl then if you had a colour printer. That would be really cool. Okay, Roxy, no problem. Bye, Valerie. We're nearly finished now anyway. So that's going to dry clear. Look at that shine. Wow. So that's an A4 piece. So yeah, I'm going to let that dry and pop that in a frame. Nice kind of sign for maybe by your front door or something like that even. Let's go back to the main camera and get that out of the way. Did you enjoy that? It was a bit different. I know it didn't all work straight away, but we got there in the end, didn't we? Darren says hi. Hi, Darren. Yeah, so I do understand that it's not for everybody, this kind of crafting and, you know, machines, budgets and things like that. But I like to show you some different things and how you can still, it's not about abandoning all the things that you love to do. And all the creativity and things like that. It's about incorporating them. So have a great evening, guys. Don't forget, so the launch of the next one will be 2 weeks today on the 6th of September. I will be back next Monday as well, 6 p.m. with another demonstration. It's bank holiday as well, isn't it? Next weekend. Oh, we're going to have a bank holiday offer of some sort on the website, aren't we? And yeah, this week's is 10% off the blending brushes and all your Ranger distress oxides and inks in the large pads. Enjoy, take care, and have a great week, guys. Bye.